Boy, were Portugal good today. My name's Mark. Let's talk rugby. Portugal started this one brightly. They got themselves into the 22. They got penalty advantage as well. They're moving the ball. Johnny Williams is offside and Portugal decide to go for the post. Marquez misses a kick that normally you would expect him to slot, and he didn't have a great game from the tee today, honestly. But Portugal, in loose, I think thought he was fairly good, and a lot of the Portugal players really stood up today. We then have a clever little kick over the top, which was gathered by Portugal, and they're the ones doing all the attacking early on. Wales, though, they finally come forward after sustaining a lot of pressure from Portugal and just being on defence. They get the ball to the edge. Raffle rides a challenge and then finds Luis Samet, and he's able to find his way to the try line, goes over to score, and then does a Ronaldo celebration, for the benefit of the Portugal fans. So then Halfpenny converts this one to 7-0 to Wales. Portugal showing great ambition, running the ball out of their 22. They get into the Welsh half, but a poor pass then sees that break down. They come again and break up the middle with Granate. Faletau, though, has the pace to hunt him down, and Wales turn it over. It was a great break by Portugal, though, because they first of all ran it out of their own 22, got over into that Welsh half, then a pop off to Granate, and if you had just that little bit more, Faletau mightn't have caught him, but Wales able to turn it over. Portugal, they're keeping the ball alive, but Wales are just managing to get in there and win those crucial turnovers. Raffle is to the fore in that regard. Wales coming forward now. Portugal shooting out in defence and making their hits. Some great tackles, including one from Portela on Jenkins, which forces a knock on. Portugal, they look to attack again. Johnny Williams plays the ball on the ground. He gets a yellow card. Wales down to 14 for 10 minutes. Marquez kicks the penalty to the corner. They win the line out and go to the maul, but Wales just drive them over the sideline. It was so easy. It was just like they kind of guided them over to the side, and maybe a lesson learned for Portugal there for future games against tier 1 sides. Halfpenny then brilliantly regathers his own up and under in traffic and gets Wales back on the front foot, but they just can't take advantage of the momentum that generated. Then Sakare kicks a brilliant 50-22, and there's just a huge cheer from the crowd. Obviously, in any of these games, the crowd are going to be on the side of the neutrals, and Portugal's performance is, I think worthy of the backing that they're getting as well. Portugal, they're 10 metres out from the line. Marta comes on the wrap from a fake maul. They go to the backs then. Pinto goes to win 5 metres, but Halfpenny gets in there, wins a turnover penalty for Wales. A little while later, Lima puts in another great 50-22 for Chile. For Portugal, not Chile. And so much good work from Portugal, but they still have nothing to show for it at this stage. Queiroz tries a drop goal, but he's just off target with it. But they did have penalty advantage for a seatbelt tackle, so Marquez slots this one and finally gets them on the board, 7-3. Wales are back up to 15 now. They get Mason Grady into space on the left, but he gives a really poor pass to Rio Dyer that just goes straight into touch. Wales then win a penalty with the clock in the red. They spread it to Johnny Williams. He goes over. We have a TMO check, and we see that he lost the ball as he dove for the line, but there was another penalty advantage, so we come back for that. Portugal get a warning for the number of penalties that they're conceding close to the line. Dowie Lake then taps it and just goes straight at the line, and he's able to drive over. Maybe, some tired legs on the Portugal side there. Halfpenny converts this, and we're at 14-3 at half time. So Portugal really made it a game in that first half. Wales then into the second half, they win a penalty early. Portugal were overlaying in the scrum, and they'd done that on a number of occasions. It started out with free kicks and then it went up to penalties. Wales go to the corner, but Portugal managed to nick the line out and clear. Then they steal another line out. I thought their line out defence was excellent today. Wales, though, win a scrum against the head in the 22. Anscombe then tries a kick over the top, but it's an easy mark for Portugal. We then have a bit of a kicking battle until Wales then get pinged for crossing. Marquez goes to the post, but again he's off target. Wales have a chance to attack off a decent scrum. They work it up to the line, and then Jack Morgan forces his way over to score. Halfpenny converts for 21-3. And at this point, Wales kind of breathing a sigh of relief that the game at least is won, because Portugal really did put them under tons of pressure in that game. And, just a few more things going their way and they could have been a lot closer at this stage. Portugal, they do come forward from here. They're hanging onto the ball. They've got numbers out wide on the right, on the edge. It's something like a 4-on-2, I think, that they've got, edge of the 22, but they panic a little bit and it's all kind of rushed. They don't really use their numbers all that well, and it ends up then with Storty. He does get the ball on the edge, but Rio Dyer is able to tackle him. The ball comes off Dyer and goes into touch. Line out to Portugal. They work the ball up to within 10 metres. They win it under penalty. They, looked like they were going to tap it from 10 metres out, because that was kind of central in front of the post. But instead, after a little bit of debate, they decide to go to the corner. Then Tajir finds Simoes in the line out, and he just drops off a beautiful pass to Nicola Martins coming through a gap at the front of the line out. He goes over to score. Wales completely fooled by it. They thought that it was going to be a maul, and all of their pack were basically setting up for that. It really was like a great piece of play by Portugal. Marquez misses the conversion. We're at 21-8. Portugal then look to come forward, but Jack Morgan does really well to strip the ball in contact. Wales then look to move it. It goes loose, but Louis Samet, he collects it. He goes through a gap, some really nice footwork from him. Then he just kind of almost just stops dead and then pops the ball off to Davies to go over. But we're called back by the TMO because Francis actually blocked a potential tackler as Zamet was making his break, so it's no try. Wales then put up a high kick. Pinto claims it, but for some reason he's got like his leg out like Karate Kid style as he's catching it in the air, and he catches Josh Adams in the head with his studs. He gets a yellow card that's sent to the bunker for review. Wales then they go to their maul after the penalty on the edge of 22, not really going anywhere, they're going sideways. Portugal managed to turn it over. Wales then go after them aggressively in the scrum and they force a knockdown at the back. They then win a penalty at their own scrum and they decide that they're going to run it, win another penalty for offside. They have to scrum then within the shadows of the post. They get a good shove on in the scrum. Faletau breaks off the back and he goes over next to the post to score. Costello adds on the extras for full-time score of 28-8. Just before he does that though, we hear that Pinto's yellow card has been upgraded to a red. Wales, though, they scraped the bonus point win out of this game. In terms of how Wales went then, really had to work for that win, and probably getting that bonus point at the death will make this feel a much better result for them. It's clear though that there isn't much depth in the squad beyond, the starters, but it's Gatland's job to build that over the next 4 years. That's going to take time, but these players are going to develop through this World Cup as well. For now, they're 2 from 2 and they're in a really good position to make the quarterfinals. Portugal did themselves proud in this one. First appearance in the World Cup since 2007. Maybe, they're only going to qualify for World Cups in France. Hopefully not, though, because I'd love to see them at the next World Cup. They've been a breath of fresh air. And, again, I would love to see the World Cup being expanded so we can get more of these teams in, because then they're going to be playing teams of kind of their own level, but at a Rugby World Cup. And maybe, they can get some more wins and some more inspiration. But, Portugal, they're on top at times, or final pass, or, the little bit of composure that they might have needed to turn what was a decent break or a decent move into a try eluded them at times. Their set piece try, though, was an absolute work of art. There will be a lot of tier 1 teams looking at and thinking, why didn't we think of something like that? They put it up to Wales for much of the game as well. And, once again, we see the potential that exists outside of our tier 1 bubble here with teams like Portugal.